Welcome to the Bible Reader Companion. We're closing out this week where we've been reading from 1 Thessalonians chapters 1 through 3. We still encourage you to read this if you haven't already, and to read it multiple times to get the gist of what Paul is saying. Today we want to look at a verse in chapter 2 and verse 13. Paul has something interesting to say here that affects our attitude toward what we hear. He says in verse 13 of chapter 2, "For this reason we also thank God without ceasing, because when you received the word of God, which you heard from us, you welcomed it not as the word of men, but as it is in truth the word of God, which also effectively works in you who believe." And what's so critical about this? It's extremely critical, because our attitude toward what we hear says something about what we do with it. Just think about it. You know, Jesus said in Matthew that there were those who were challenging what authority he had. He said, look, I'll give you two choices. Is it from men or is it from God, from heaven? And they understood. If it was from men, they could reject it. No big deal. But if it was from heaven, they had to listen to that. And Paul says these people, when they heard the word, they also understood that. But they understood that what Paul was preaching was, in fact, the word of God, not the word of men. Yes, it came through men, but it wasn't the word of men. It was the word that God had revealed to men. What we do with the gospel, what we do with the Bible, what we do with what we read, depends on whether we think we're just reading what some man wrote, or whether we think that we're reading the words of God. As the weekend approaches, keep this in mind. Are you thinking about what you read as the message that God has for his people? Or are you just looking at it as, hey, I need something else to read? Because if you read it as the word of God, it will change your life. It will change how you think. It will change how you live. Think upon these things, and we hope you'll join us next week as we continue our study of 1 Thessalonians. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook for more content like this.